Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to have you all tuned in to our fourth webinar in a series of weekly webinars that are geared to help learn from the best workplaces. This webinar series is hosted by Great Place to Work, the global authority on workplace culture. Having globally surveyed more than 100 million employees over 30 years has helped us understand that it is trust which defines a great workplace. The Great Place to Work assessment helps organizations quantify their culture and produce better business results by creating a high trust work experience for all employees, which leads to a high performance culture. Great Place to Work identifies the best workplaces in Sri Lanka through publishing the annual Best Workplaces list. The three organizations featured on today's panel are three from completely different industries, and therefore there's a lot to learn from them. In alphabetical order, first we have Certis Lanka Security Solutions Private Limited, a market leader in high caliber and highly skilled manpower security for mainly commercial and industrial sectors across the island. It has appeared on Sri Lanka's Best Workplaces list for 2 years in a row now. It is represented today by Director of Branch Operations, Mr. Jeevaka Vijayasinghe, who has been with the group for more than 7 years handling business development, and the Group Director for HR Admin and Business Relations, Mr. Eshantha De Silva, who has 4 decades of experience in the corporate sector of Sri Lanka. Secondly, we have CBL Plentifoods. With over 50 years of the CBL Group's experience in quality and innovation backing it, it specializes in manufacturing cereal products and herbal porridge. Plentifoods made its way onto the Best Workplaces list for the first time in 2019. We have with us consultant and former Director CEO, Mr. Shammi Karunaratne, who has over 30 years of experience in sales and marketing in both multinational and local organizations. We also have with us Director of Corporate HR for CBL Group, Mrs. Kudini Vemilage, who accounts for nearly 2 decades of corporate experience across multinational and domestic organizations. And thirdly, on our panel, we have SoftLogic Life Insurance PLC. With the strength and backing of SoftLogic Holdings, it is one of Sri Lanka's leading life insurers. It is featured on Sri Lanka's Best Workplaces list for 4 years in a row now. It is represented today by Managing Director, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed, who has over 30 years in financial and banking industry, and both in Sri Lanka as well as overseas actually. And the Head of Human Resources, Mr. Indika Bamanisinghe, whose experience spans over 12 years in the insurance and retail industries in Sri Lanka, Australia, and Hong Kong. And we warmly welcome now Mr. Nista Kasim to moderate this panel. He is a founding editor of Daily FT, Sri Lanka's first and only national daily business paper since 2009. He has also worked at many of Sri Lanka's top newspaper brands, and he has a career of more than 25 years in journalism. Over to you, Nista.
Nista, we can't hear you.
Is it mute?
Yes. Nista.
All mute or?
Nisa, I don't think we can hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Still we can't hear.
Give us a minute. I think we are having some audio problems. Probably give us a minute or two. We should be able to rectify. Yes.
Right, so while we get Nista online, let me just go through some ground rules with everyone. So we have everybody on mute, and we'd like you to continue to stay on mute unless you are speaking. And if you're one of the panelists and you would like to be speaking at that point, you can unmute yourself in order to avoid any echoes coming up. And as the panelists are speaking, we'll be taking questions from the audience. We'd invite you to write in your questions in the panel chat box and submit your questions. And at the end of the two sessions for the panelists speaking, we will take questions in the last 10 minutes of the webinar. Right. So while we have
thank you very much, Ruth. Good afternoon to everyone who have joined us this interesting webinar. I welcome all the speakers or panelists, or I would call experts who will basically take everyone journey of best place practices to becoming a great. Can you hear me now? Sorry. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, yes, can hear.
We can hear you,
Hi,
Nista.
everyone.
Hi, we can hear you now.
Hi.
Hear you
I
right
think there
now.
is sort of a drop in the connection. Can you hear me now?
We can't see you speaking.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
now.
We
Yes.
can't see you speaking, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hi. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Can you now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Nista.
Can you hear me now? It shows a break. Is it now? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I like to, we have in the panel the Plenty Foods, which is first time in the list. So I would like to ask the Plenty Food, Mr. Karunaratne maybe, to come up with as to what makes your organization a great place to work. I mean, because you must be all excited by being included in the list for the first time.
Yes, thank you, Nista. And also I thank the Great Place to Work Institute for having invited for this forum, Kumudin and me from CBL Group. Well, this is very unique because Plenty Foods entered for the first time and listed in the best 25 companies was a unique culture that we have built over 25 years. We have different locations. We have 4 locations island-wide. We have factories in Kandy. You know, you have 2 locations for agriculture. Colombo, we have an office. So all that together, getting into this first 25 was unique. It's mainly because of the values that core values that we have in our organization. And also we believe and we trust on caring, which we have been always having for over 20 years. We were a very small company at the inception, but the employees have grown with the company. And the company has that unique culture of feeling that we are one family. And I know with the size of Ceylon Biscuits, CBL Group, we always call it CBL family. And Plenty is another organization in the group, which is also a family. So we as a group have made it one big family. So the values, the culture, the way we move around has been very, very special. And I think that is where we have scored very heavily because of the commitment and the feeling towards the organization. So that was in short. And I think Kumudini can elaborate a little bit on the group so that there are these synergies together to speak on. Kumudini.
Yeah, thank you, Shammi, and thank you, Great Place to Work, for the opportunity as well. So if I were to link it to the group, because as Shammi mentioned very clearly, what unique in our company, our group is our unique culture. That is like caring, high performance culture, which is of course supported by or guided by, I would say, our purpose, our purpose, and then CBL Group's purpose, and also our core values, and then supported by our EVP, that is employee value proposition, and also our total rewards framework. So if you look at it, we have a kind of a very inspiring purpose. So our purpose is to create enriching moments of happiness for people by being a caring global entity with true Sri Lankan identity. So you can see it is to create enriching moments of happiness for people. Right? It is a very people-focused purpose statement that we have. So this inspiring purpose statement, of course, that connects all our employees together, to do great things on everyday basis. And then if I were to touch on our core values, I think it is not all about core values, which differentiate us from others. I think it is the way that we identified our core values. So what we did, it was like when we wanted to really finalize our core values, we spoke to, people at different levels. And we wanted to understand actually, what led to this success in this organization, and also what we need to preserve in the organization to ensure future success. So that is how we identified our core values of caring, quality, innovation, and integrity. And then to look at our employee value proposition, or EVP, that is also revolves around this basically our working environment, development, and performance, and also community publics. And then if you really look at our total rewards scheme, that will support employees to, basically that is the rewards that we have in employees when they deliver their part, like how they will get rewarded. And in addition to that, in our company, if you look at even our performance management system, how we set our objectives, that also revolves around, if you look at 4 P's, we call it, right? That is around triple bottom line and another P, that is like profits, people, planet, and processes. So you can see, because it is sustainability, like it is part of all our strategy. So it is, what I feel is the clarity that we have in the group, with regard to the purpose, the values, the EVP, the total reward system. And then I think the most importantly, it is about our people, because, who would basically create the culture, who would preserve the culture, and then, who would do everyday great things, that is our people. So I think as an organization, as a group, we are really blessed with, people with passion, to do great things every day, to preserve our culture and do what is right for Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kumudini and Shami. I just want to ask, this is your first, you are a new entrant to the list. I'm sure you'd have tried to get into the list a few years ago. What did you see as what were the gaps you had in that journey to get to the list? Any particular thing that you like to highlight?
No,
Of
actually
course,
speaking, this is the first time we applied and
Okay,
we
great.
got into the list. Yes.
it's also just to come in here. I think first time we got in, and we were so lucky and blessed to get there, because I think we have been practicing many of the core values that was expected by the institute, knowingly or unknowingly. So this practice had been going on for ages, and it
Okay.
really plugged in well, I suppose.
Good. So I think you made it straight to the list in your first attempt. Congratulations. We'll come back to you. I'd like to move on to the SoftLogic team, who had been in the list for 4 years. Getting there is fine, but remaining in the list is always a challenge. How do you keep your employees engaged and motivated? Iftika, can you share some insights?
Of course. So thank you, first of all, Nista. Thank you to Great Place to Work for having us on this webinar. Happy to be here. In response to the question asked, I think what we've done is that we have crafted our strategy around our management team. So I think we started on this journey about maybe 5-6 years ago. And what we did first was to get a solid management team into place. Into this management team, we have attracted individuals from just not finance and insurance sector, but also from diverse other fields, like, for example, telco, from FMCG, etc., etc. We're very proud to say that we have, I think, about 40% of our management, our heads of department in that category, who have left multinational companies to work for a large local company. And what this has done is that it has given us a phenomenal drive in terms of our business. We are an insurance company that has grown at about 30% over the last 5 years versus the industry growth of about 12%. And what we've done essentially in this management team is that we have allowed them the freedom to do according to how they see fit in terms of each of their disciplines. We have given them the freedom to think, the freedom to act, and the freedom to develop. And this has paid dividends in, I think, extreme dividends in terms of in every area that we have seen great success. Starting with Great Place to Work, we are for the 4th year now a Great Place to Work. If you take our finance team, they got the best annual report going out there. If you take our marketing team, last year they were the brand of the year. So this is a very young team, a very talented team, and I think the secret behind this is that we have acquired excellent talent. But what is most important is that we have given them the freedom to work as they see fit, and for them to utilize their talents towards the benefit of the organization. Nista?
Yeah, thanks. Excellent. I know it's great strategies and all that, but I just want to know what new have you all done in terms of perfecting this engagement, perfecting this motivation. I mean, I know everybody wants to do it, everyone claims they are doing it, but what stands out in your organization, because you have been in this for a couple of, within these 3 panel, I think you are the most long-standing company.
Yeah. So Nista, I think the starting from the management team, you have to kind of believe in a goal and in a destination, and that is what then that brings that team together. So they see a goal, a common an area that we want to go to, a destination that they believe in, and that is what then helps everybody to come together. So whatever the circumstances, what we always look at here is how do we develop our business? Are there new products? Are there new segments? Are there new IT solutions? And what it does is that it gets everybody excited. So there is a huge amount of momentum within the company and a huge amount of interaction where people are always trying to see, what is it they can do better? How can they get ahead? How can they provide a better solution to a customer, etc., etc. So all this is basically, I think, believing in a common goal. I think one of the feedback that we've got from the Great Place to Work is that, and one of the high scoring points that we have is that top management knows exactly where we are going, right? And so that is, I think, something that binds the organization, starting with the management, and then takes it down to different layers of the organization.
Thank you. I'll move on to Certis. Welcome to the webinar. You deal with people and you provide people for rest of the companies who can. I like to know, how do you manage that in terms of best practices? In terms of because unlike the other two, you people whom you supply, your team are part of their own resource team as well in terms of security. So I like to ask Jeevaka to sort of share some insights. What has been your best practices to remain outstanding?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening to the panelists. Thank you, Nishtha. So just to begin with, our company is over 43 years old. So there are certain core values that were built on the foundation of the inception of founding this company. So those values have continued throughout the 43 years. It hasn't changed. A lot of integrity, a lot of teamwork, a lot of respect. We have an open door policy. We're also a very employee-centric organization. We have over 10,000 people now. Out of the 10,000, 7,500 are security personnel. So there are certain things that we do, that we have to do. We have built an ecosystem of the people always being there. For example, if our security personnel are there at a particular office or a company, we're continuously sending our trainers and our customer service managers to visit them to make sure they're okay. We always go out of our way to make sure they are okay, their families are okay. We are always in constant communication with them. Last year, we started an initiative where we were building houses for our staff or completing their existing houses. So we built 20 houses last year. We just completed another 40 houses for our staff. So there are certain things that we have to do in terms of making sure that they have a healthy work environment. We let them know that we take care of them. Our doors are open from the CEO to the chairman's office, as in anyone is always open, and we're always available to talk to our staff. So it's the open, very family-oriented environment that we have, and we're in constant communication with our staff. So we have medical camps, we help their kids with their school scholarships, and there are a lot of things that we do in terms of interacting and going out of our way to make sure that they are okay.
Okay, thank you. Jeevaka and maybe Ishant also can chip in here. I mean, you're a security service, professional security services company. And what's the message you give employees? I mean, do Certis employees represent Certis values, or have they been sort of trained or aligned to represent the values of the customers? So generally,
yes, thank you, Nishtha, and thank you, Nishtha, and thank you, the Great Place to Work Institute, for organizing this webinar and inviting us to be a participant. And in fact, yes, we tell our employees about the company values. The company values are the respect, integrity, and teamwork. And we aim to be a truly great company to work with the employee, the company values. So the employees contribute towards the successful achievement of the final part of our mission statement, that is to give our employees a challenging, rewarding, and a fulfilling career in our organization. And also to add something more, the two more best practices will be the caring and training. As Jivaka mentioned some, we are doing a lot of caring by way of employee welfare, insurance schemes, the welfare loan schemes. We have a Gedora Sahana loan scheme where we provide loans for people to build houses, then medical checkups, health facilities, and so on. So, and also the, as Jivaka told, the education opportunities like annual scholarships for children of the employees, and also the funeral-led allowances which we provide the employees in death of an employee, spouse, children, parents, and parents-in-law. So we give a comprehensive amount of funeral-led allowances for all the employees. So by this, it has helped us to be one of the great places to work and to retain our employees.
Okay, Ishant, I don't think I didn't get my answer anyway, but I'm trying to see, because you're different to rest of the panel here in terms of your employees do represent your values at a different organization. How do you sort of align? Yeah, I want that. I mean, it's unique. Your industry is unique in the panel.
Yeah. Can you tell me your question, Nista?
No. In terms of because you provide people to serve the other companies, how do you sort of align with what your values versus your customers' values?
Yeah, that is the value. Yeah, what do you say?
Can I jump in? So there are certain so there are certain values that we train our guards, and they usually from inception the values are the service values that we instill in them in the way they handle themselves or align themselves. But it depends from where they are going to. So we also brief them, like say if they're going for a hotel, for example, we get in touch with the hotel. We speak to them, we meet them, and then we give them we give whoever we are deploying there, we give them a brief, we give a presentation on where they're going. So to know the culture of the hotel, we introduce them to all the managers, even myself, we all go for these meetings. So it's kind of finding the right balance there. But the core values are the values, the service values that we instill in our staff. I hope that answers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Before I move on to the next session, I just want each of the panelists companies to sort of highlight, in your opinion, what you feel is unique to your own organization within the industry. What do you think that you have sort of been a trendsetter in terms of best practices? Maybe I'll ask Shami to whether they can single out if you feel that industry leading.
Yes, especially I think I can answer your question in a different form, where especially Plenty Foods is into nutrition, and we as an organization believe that is one of the requirements to this country today. And the other thing that what we have really seen we are special is we are linked up with the farmer community, and the organization and the farmer community works hand in hand to ensure that we use local raw material, we take care of the farmer community like our own family, and that uniqueness is, I think, very, very special to our organization against any company that produces food products. And CBL as a group, we have the link today to get to the farmer who needs support from large organizations. And we have really made it happen. So that is very, very special to our organization. From the farmer to the consumer, every employee in the organization, every farmer that we are tied up with, is involved. So that is what I feel, that we are very special compared to many organizations in the food industry. I hope I answered your question.
Kumudini, anything that you'd like to specifically highlight in terms of HR practice per se, that you feel that it stands out? It stands out.
Yeah, HR practices, what I would do is actually maybe I will share something which is there in PFL, right? So if you look at what they do differently is, as per my understanding, they make employees feel good, right? So let's say maybe what PFL is also doing are similar to what other companies are doing. You know, it is, I think, you know, maybe celebrate, you know, like you get together and, you know, like you support the community, you support farmers, you know, like it's the same thing, but how they do it differently. If I were to give you maybe one example there, so how they celebrate birthdays of their employees, right? So what they do is like these employees, you know, like Shammi will ensure that, you know, he will go, he will cut the cake with employees, and he will say something, you know, good about employees. So because of that, what we are hearing, you know, like from the group is basically employees, they would like to, you know, celebrate their birthdays in office, because, you know, like they can hear the thing from Shammi, from the CEO itself. So it is about actually, it's not, I feel that, you know, as we said, you know, we have a unique culture, you know, like, and also like we have really, you know, like we are blessed to have, you know, like great set of employees. So what is unique is, I think, you know, how you make them feel, you know. So that is, I just gave one example.
Thank you, thank you. SoftLogic, anything that stands out? People are sort of taking lessons from you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. So if I take it from where Mr. Ahmed shared about the culture which we wanted to build. So with the young senior team came in, what we wanted to build was the open culture, with, you know, high performing open culture. So high performance, basically every organization needs to basically be a high performing organization. But what it differs is from the openness and the way it basically communicates. So to build this culture, high performing open culture, we brought in communication, so which is very important, two-way, not one-way communication, it's a two-way communication. And then we brought in recognition, not only rewarding, it's recognition, recognizing each and everything which you do within the organization for the performance, and then the development. If you take SoftLogic Live, we are a young team. So if you take I would say more than 60% of our employees are below 32 years of age. So there are challenges and positives as well. Positive is that very young, energetic team. Challenges would be the expectations are very high. So development plays a key role in our journey to make sure that we are very different to our competitors or players in the financial sector.
Okay, thank you. Certis.
Yeah, the uniqueness in our organization will be the our branch network, island-wide branch network, where we, when we compare to our competitors, where we have 11 branches island-wide and 4 sub-offices and 32 hubs, where we have a regional manager in all these branches, and we can provide our customer a fast and efficient service to our customer from our branch itself in the island-wide branch network. So that is the uniqueness in our organization compared to the other our competitors. And also for the employees, we send a customer assessment form every year, and based on that customer assessment, we grade our employees, especially the security officers. We grade them, and according to the grading, we give them a performance allowance. So through the performance allowance, our employees are motivated to, perform better at their customer locations. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for some very insightful perspectives from in terms of best practices and what makes you a great place to work. I like to move on to the obviously the current topic of COVID. I'm sure everyone is impacted. So rather than explaining what was the impact, I just want to know how these companies sort of responded to the challenge of getting back to normal or even managing during the lockdowns. Maybe Plenty Foods might be able to tell as to perhaps single out some key challenge and how we all responded.
Yes, Nista. It was the challenge to Plenty Foods because it's a very vast operation. You're talking of picking up grains from the storage points, bringing fresh to the godowns, and also getting the employees to come to work. But the unique thing in this whole exercise was, I believe, and our team believe, that we are fortunate at that point of time to ensure that the public is given right nutrition, and that challenge was taken over by, I think, all our employees. So what we did was, the day we were supposed to open, we had challenges because the demand was high for nutritious supplementary food, and Samaposh was the product that we had to move into the consumer, and the number was not small. It's about 250 employees at the factory, and our production had to be increased. So what we did was, we were also restricted by the authorities that only 50% of your employees can get to work, and social distancing, a lot of things had to be maintained. So what we did was, immediately, what we did was, we had a discussion together, and the program was laid down very, very seriously. From the time that they were picked up from their homes, the distancing was maintained. A 26-seater bus had to carry only about 10-12 people. It was hard, but a lot of vehicles had to be sent around the factory and also to certain distant areas to bring the key people into the factory premises. And they were given times to be ready. They were also given a lot of instructions how to prepare themselves to get to the bus. And then the moment we get to the factory premises, the temperature was checked, the sanitizing of the process was very well looked at. So everything, abide by the rules established by the organization. There was no negativity. Mainly, they all felt that they got to come to work. So that was maintained continuously. And then distancing we had to do, because we do packing, the processing is going on. So we had to maintain all those things. And the beauty of the whole situation was the output also increased, because the employees realized that there's a limited number of people and they got to meet the demand. And the commitment by the worker up to the top manager in the organization had that feeling that we got to support the community at this point of time. I think we encountered it very well. We dropped them back. In fact, we provided all meals to the employees. We didn't even want them to bring food from home. And everywhere we looked at their convenience and safety. I know the medical, I think we really looked at the medical health conditions of employees. And I think Kumuduni has been always talking about it. The people who are not immune to the systems had to be kept at home. We checked on them. And also the prescription of their families, maybe their parents, maybe their husbands, wives, need to get medicine, but they were not in a position to get to the pharmacies because of curfew. We got all the prescriptions to office and ensured that the medicine is bought for them and then distributed among the staff when they require. So they really felt happy and proud of it. And there was a challenge to the HR division that they were struggling to come. 90% of employees want to get to work. So we had to give them rosters. And a lot of people were calling, so can we come? So I think that's the uniqueness of our organization. And we handle it, I think, extremely well. And Kumuduni can endorse it, how we looked at it from the group's perspective. Every day, 4:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning, all of us, including the chairman, was involved, discussing how to support this. And I think Kumuduni can at least elaborate a little bit. I think that's.
Thank you.
Okay, right. Thanks, Shami. Yes, actually, we are one of the few companies who started our operation in March itself. So, yeah, in March itself, we started our operation. If you look at, as Shami said, all our, chairman and our group directors and our CEOs, like what we did was like every day we had a meeting. And then we got used to a kind of a virtual meeting, like from wherever we are, homes, we connected. And then we discuss, everything which is important. And one of the main important things that I see in the company is basically company's direction was very clear, right? What our chairman said, I think, like it is very inspiring. He said, he requested CEOs, right? You will have to secure employment of our people, and also you cannot touch their salaries, right? So that is actually came from our chairman. I think, which for me, of course, from HR, of course, it is really, I feel that it is inspiring. And what he wanted was basically, he wanted to do, what is right for people and all other stakeholders. That is one of the very reasons why, if you look at CVL as a group, why we started our operations, because we are into foods, right? So we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility for our customers, consumers, and also other people that that they need our products. Because if you look at, we basically donated our products, to quarantine centers, other places, maybe hospitals, certain things to hospital, and then as Shami said, like basically the people, like we finalize all our protocols, in line with MOH, with the support of PHIs, area police, and also like as per WHO guidelines, we communicated, we had all the processes, and then, like even picking people from their doorstep, providing meal, and then allowing our, pregnant mothers and lactating mothers and all people with, certain health conditions, like to stay at home. Still they are at home, still, they are getting their full pay, right? Though they are staying at home. Some employees who can connect, of course, we allow them to basically connect from home, working from home. In summary, I think what our chairman and the leadership team, what they wanted was actually, at this moment of time, we need to do what is right for our employees and all other stakeholders. So that direction was very clear, and I think everyone wanted to support that direction.
We can't hear you.
Thank you.
We can't hear.
So, Project, what would be your experience, the challenge that you really experienced, and then how did you respond to it?
Yeah, so I think it was March, I think 20th, when the curfew
Project,
actually came. Yeah, and we can hear you now, Anista, and I hope you can hear me now as well, right? So I think the curfew came to Colombo on the 20th of March, and from that point onwards is where the challenges actually arose. So we are in the insurance business. So what we need to do is we need to collect premiums, then we need to invest those premiums, and then at the same time we need to pay claims to our policyholders. So that's in essence is the insurance business. So we had started on a path of digitalization some time ago, and this actually came in very useful with the whole COVID situation kicking in. So right now, all our sales teams can essentially submit their proposals to our centralized operations on a device. So that continued to happen during the month of March and in the month of April. So our disruption was not as bad as it could have been. We managed that. Then obviously we switched to a work from home mode, and everybody was at home. And in terms of our operations, especially the part that does the processing of policies, does the settlement of claims, etc., they adapted very fast. And I think by the time we hit end of April, I think it was a fantastic surprise to us that every single request that had come through to us, whether it was in respect of a policy condition, whether it was in respect of a claim, all claims had been settled that we received. So this was, I think, a fantastic effort by the entire team, working from home, dispersed in different locations, but willing to go that extra mile and serve our customers. So I think, especially for an insurance company, when it really matters is when we have to deliver in situations like COVID. And I think the issue with COVID was that it has an impact in terms of an individual. People are nervous, they are scared, they're worried about their health, they're worried about their livelihood, life, etc. And the best thing that we could do as an insurance company was then whatever requirement that had to be fulfilled from our side was to be able to fulfill that. And I think our team, I think, responded to that in a really magnificent manner. We're very happy about the way we actually came through that. And what it has now done is that it has created a separate work from home kind of stream, which I suppose you will maybe touch on later. Nista?
Satis, what was your biggest challenge, and how did you all respond to it?
Our biggest challenge was because we have over 7,500 personnel scattered across the island. There were instances where there were people who had taken leave who couldn't report back to work because of curfew. There were people where their families wouldn't let them come because of the fear of them getting the virus. There were challenges where certain corporates didn't want the people who were in their location. Usually they're on a shift basis, so they didn't want them changed with the fear of where is the other security guard coming in from. So they wanted to maintain the same 5 people 24 hours throughout the day and during curfew. So during this time, and most of the offices were closed. So it was only our people who were there in the front lines, in the factories, in the hotels, in the offices. So it was just making sure their emotional health was okay. We immediately, once the curfew came on, as instructed by our chairman, we, the board of directors, the company heads, and the consultants into a WhatsApp group. So we could discuss every day in the morning. We would have discussions and meetings. And then we have 5 subsidiary companies under Satis Group. So each company were told to kind of form their own WhatsApp group to communicate with the finance, with the marketing, with the sales, with the customers. Because most of our staff are security guards, our nurses, are all in, our nurses, for example, are in our customers' homes. So we have to make sure that they are okay. We made sure that masks and sanitizers were given to each and every security guard and nurse and courier and driver that is employed by us. We gave a special allowance for food. We actually got, just before the curfew came up, we had touched base with food suppliers, and we gave the guards an allowance for them to purchase their food if they want to. We provided rations. We provided an additional allowance to all the guards who were working, who had to work 24 hours because the customers didn't want them to be changed. And also we just kept in constant touch with them. We wrote personalized letters. Our chairman wrote a letter to all our staff, and we addressed them personally. So each of their names were on the letter. We spoke to them. We reached out to our customers. The past 2 months have been quite interesting. I don't think any of us here ever expected to be in a situation like this. So our team adapted really well. Our admin officers were closed, but all of us were kind of visiting customer locations and speaking to them. We were divided areas to go visit them, and mainly what we focused on was operations and customer service. We also had to look into debt management because we have obviously cash flows and liquidity has to be managed well, which is something I'm assuming all the companies here are, looking into properly now within the next few months. So it's doing little things like that, and we're in constant touch. So from our chairman all the way down to managers, we would even call the staff. We would give the security guard a phone call. We would go and see how they are. So the last few months have been a lot of touching base and just keeping constant communication with them.
Okay, thank you. Excellent responses. I'd like to also remind our webinar participants that there is the next in line will be your questions. Please feel free to text in or post questions to all our panelists. We will try to accommodate as much as possible. I'd like to ask the panel a general question about, from your perspective, what was key learning? I mean, going forward, I think we have started to sort of resume operations. Maybe we'll start from Monday onwards. What was the key learning from the COVID pandemic, and how have you kept the morale of your staff despite this pandemic situation? What are we?
Hello. Yeah. So what you're asking is the key learning, from pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes. If you look at the most important thing in that kind of a situation is, like clarity of leadership. What is the direction that we are taking? I think in our group that direction was very clear. So that in this kind of a situation, importance of leadership direction, and also how basically how we want our employees and other stakeholders, to remember our company, So I think, our company took that very seriously. That is the very reason why, they wanted to look at all the stakeholders, what our responsibilities are. One thing learning is, of course, I think, suddenly you had to work from home. I think everyone got used to it. I think we enjoyed that also, right? So that is it. And also, like, it was no Saturday, no Sunday. It was, I think, initially every day, basically connecting and working and, providing that support. And one thing that we saw was, like, sometimes in these kind of situations, you can see some employees are really, like, flourish, right? Some employees perform really, really well in this challenging environment. That also we observed.
Okay.
Adding on to Udini. Yes, sir.
Yeah. SoftLogic, what was the key challenge for you in terms of learning?
From SoftLogic side, what we believe is adaptability, or if not, we didn't plan anything probably before 13th of March, where we had some sort of insight that there can be something coming up. So till that we didn't much plan, but then we had plans, right? But the situation pushed us to basically adapt to the situation, come up with it. As our managing director mentioned, it's not only from our business, it's not about only looking after our employees. Yes, that's very much important. But again, the people who are, like the customers who are depending on us for their safety and for their protection. So we had to make sure that even during the tough time, to make sure that their like servicing issues are being made, properly paid their claims and all that. With regard to employees, make sure that like all employees are safe first place, and making sure that to take out the uncertainty which came into all of our minds during that tough time. So making sure that we all are facing this issue or problem together as a team, and then we are trying to overcome. So basically, in a nutshell, I would say the adaptability. So now actually we are moving towards bringing in the more flexible working conditions. Even post-COVID, we want to practice that, which we brought in. So basically, work from home concept to be further strengthened, so that all our employees will have a different workplace altogether post-COVID. So yeah,
okay.
That was it.
Certis, of course, won't have the luxury of getting majority of the people to work from home. What has been your key learning?
I guess it was very unexpected. So it's a matter of managing the situation as you mentioned. So most of our people are out on the field in different various locations. So for our admin staff, we're still maintaining 30%. And I think our chairman would possibly continue that for the next couple of months. As Kumudini mentioned, also we get calls from staff wanting to come to work. They either got fed up staying at home, or yeah. So it's just this whole thing is new to us. So we're taking it as we go, and right now our focus is making sure the emotional strength of our staff is maintained. So we're actually in the process of giving out certificates and badges called Certi Heroes to all the staff that went out of their way. So we'll have a ceremony once everything is settled, and we're giving them Certi's colors. And there isn't major changes that we would do. Certain operational things we would possibly change for our courier company, for our logistics, and our home nursing company. There would have to be process changes that we have to make. Other than that, for our security, is just maintaining the proper guidelines and making sure the safety of our staff is looked into.
Okay. When you sort of got back into, you would have had a lot of apprehension from the staff to sort of deal with COVID people, when you were trying to resume business, Jeevika, how did you manage the resistance from your staff to sort of dealing with public in large numbers at various customer outlets?
There wasn't a major resistance from our staff. I guess the only thing that happened was as soon as the country opened up and the curfew was lifted, the people who were stuck in places where the customer didn't want them to leave, they just put their leave and they went back home to see their families. So there wasn't a major resistance, and such as we train them. So we invest a lot in training and development. We have an academy. So during this time, during the curfew time, we had our trainers go to each and every location where our security guards are. So we went and we trained them on the job while they were there. We told them what to do, what not to do. We provided them with sanitizer and spray bottles and whatever PPE clothes that we could. So with the training and the attention to detail that we gave, I think there was not much resistance.
Okay, thank you. I think everyone agrees that the pandemic was unexpected or unprecedented. You cannot be pandemic ready in terms of HR practices, but it seems that you all really eventually found out that you all were resilient. What do you think sort of brought in that? I mean, is that can you take comfort from that situation, or you feel going forward all companies need to be sort of much more dynamic in terms of best practices in terms of HR and making it a great place overall to work for?
I think this was a great experience to many of us. And whatever we took off this pandemic, we'll have to be very selective in handling situations. And also, I think moving forward is very important that we take care of many areas in organizations, hygienic conditions, whatever, which was lacking in many institutions as well as in public. So I think there's a lot to take, really look at the status that we faced during the last 2 months.
Okay. From other panelists, any feel that did you find your entire practices are fairly robust and resilient to respond to some of these challenges? And what would you like going forward from an organizational perspective to have it in place?
Yeah, so probably if I can just say something.
Yeah.
I'm sure the companies that are on this great place to work list probably would have come out of this pandemic in a better, would have faced the pandemic and come out of it in better shape, because I think this has almost entirely to do with the people, with the teams, right? And I think so. Therefore, the relevance of great place to work really gets cemented in situations like the pandemic, where if you have a good team, a great team, if you are connected with them, if they are willing to support you, come what may, under different circumstances, trying circumstances, and they are willing to give you everything that they can. So that is what I think a great place of work is. And through this pandemic, I think you will find that the companies that are on that great place to work list probably have done much better than a company that is not on the list, probably. My take.
Yeah, I think, yeah, excellent perspective. I think I was to also to say that really tests your challenges, test your limits in terms of how you can respond to. We are running out of time. I would like to perhaps just quick one question, one answer, very short answer from each one. What would be your advice, other than trying to be joining the list from a corporate perspective? What would be your one advice if you were to share in terms of best practice going forward? Muduni, just a quick one where you feel that people must constantly, I just want one sentence.
That is like, do what is right for you, because first understand the culture that you want to have in the company, and then do what is right, to build that culture in that company.
Okay, Jeevaka?
For us, from our perspective, it's just maintaining constant communication and keeping in touch, like physically keeping in touch and constant communication with our staff.
Okay. Ishanta, you want to add anything? You have been very silent.
Yeah, you will have to look into the health and well-being of the employees. That is the main thing that we have to do for the company to go forward. So that is the thing that we have to look into the future.
Okay, fine. And final words from SoftLogic?
Yeah, so maybe Indika can add, but I think what is very clear for a business to sustain itself is to be lean. I think it's very important for us to be lean and to be agile, so that therefore we can adapt to whatever situation that comes, and that whatever challenge that comes through, we can adapt to that very fast. Indika, you want to add?
So basically, building leadership is very critical, because leadership will be tested in times like this. So building leadership will be the key thing for all organizations.
Okay, excellent. I think some great insights from fairly benchmark companies in terms of best practices. So thank you very much from FT in terms of sharing your insights. I think there's a lot of learning, and I'm sure the Great Place to Work team will sort of wrap it up with their own observations from all of the panelists. So from me as moderator, thank you very much. It was very enriching discussion. Thank you very much. Over to Rohani. Rohani.
Thank you, Nishita. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nishita.
Rohani, are you there?
Right. Good evening again, everybody. Thank you, Nishita, for moderating. I think he shot a lot of questions across to all the panelists, some expected, some even unexpected. And so thank you very much to all the panelists for your contribution today. I think it was quite interesting listening in this 1 hour to what the 3 organizations are doing, both as great workplaces as well as when it comes to how you're facing the COVID-19 situation. A lot of learnings for all types of organizations across Sri Lanka as well. So thank you once again. And thank you to everyone who has been with us during this 1 hour. I apologize for the connectivity issues that we faced today. Unfortunately, something that happens when it becomes necessary to use webinars. So we apologize for that inconvenience to our audience. Unfortunately, no matter how many checks and double checks we have done, these things sometimes have to occur. So we invite you all to participate actually in a very quick poll that we'd like to share with you now. I will draw your attention to the poll that's coming up on the screen. So just a very quick yes and no question. One is these organizations have been talking a lot about what it is to be a great workplace and the responsibility that they have, as well as what they're doing. You also heard about some of the benefits of being a great workplace, especially during these kind of crisis situations. So if you want to know more about how you can move forward on your great place to work journey, please let us know in the poll as well. So we'll just keep it open for a couple of seconds and we can have the audience answering. Right. Thank you very much. We have one more quick poll because we'd like to continue these different types of webinar series, and we'd like to understand from you what it is that is interesting to you. What would you like to learn about going forward as well? And there are some niche areas that Great Place to Work can help in terms of giving knowledge to the community, and it's these 4 areas. So one is if you want to know about how to create a great workplace, if you want to know how you can actually develop the people manager capability. A lot of panelists today talked about how it's people that are driving the organizations in these kind of times, and it will be your management, whether it's senior and actually middle management in the organization, that's really going to drive business performance for employees, and that connectivity and that communication across as well. So if you want to know how you can increase these type of capabilities in your managers, that's a learning that we can provide. How you can craft more effective people practices as well is something to help those managers have practices to utilize. And lastly, if you want to know a little bit more about how you can tie in those business metrics with employee engagement and visualize that as well, then that's something that we can do. So we have a limited number of slots webinars. So we'd like to see what is the popular opinion from everybody in the audience today. Great. So thank you very much for participating in that poll. A very quick few announcements that we are going to have today. So we had a couple of slides looping in for all of you who would like to participate in future Great Place to Work events. We have a masterclass that is coming up at the end of the month. We are moving to what we call Great Place to Work for all, where we're going to focus on just a particular average, but how can we create a consistent employee experience across the organization, across departments, locations, grades, for everyone. That is the new ethos behind the Great Place to Work model, and we'd love to share that with you all going forward. So there's a masterclass coming up. And before that, we will have actually a webinar coming up next week. So our final webinar of the series of the 5-week webinars, we'll be looking to see more of an MNC flavor coming up in the participants next week. So we'd like to invite you all to participate again, and we'll work out those technical issues so that you won't be inconvenienced too much next week as well. So thank you again very much. We have actually also opened up a COVID-19 response survey to understand what is your public opinion. The chat link is also present, so you can take a look at that and participate and let us know what is your organization doing to create a great workplace, or even to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, and what you think about it. So thank you once again for your participation, and apologies for a little bit of time overlap. We passed 4 o'clock today. So thanks once again to everybody. Have a very pleasant day. Goodbye.
Bye.